When I started reading books, I was inspired by a couple of online personalities. I struggled to read one paragraph. I don't like to give things labels because I think it can empower them, but let's say I think I may have had some form of ADD. Reading one paragraph could be a challenge. I might need to read it 6-7 times, and eventually I would just give up, and I couldn't tell you what I just read. Anyway, now I'm reading on average 15 to 25 pages a day, which is like a book every 2 weeks. I say it's not bad, it's excellent compared to where I was, but it's not where some people are. I want to say this: if you're reading books to get ahead, I've before now had the mindset that I'll read this book and it will take care of this thing. And I don't think that's possible for a couple of reasons. Often if you want to master, say, your habits, for example, I read Atomic Habits and I studied it in detail. I spent hours every week. The book is full of notes, and I thought, yes, done it, taken care of my habits. It doesn't work like that. I think it's good to read actively and take notes, but I had to read another book on habits, another book on habits, and then a book on procrastination called Do Hard Things First, which I really didn't enjoy, but seemed to do something to my mind. I think he wrote that with hypnotic language. And then eventually I read a book called High Performance Habits by Brendan Burchard, and that seemed to just do something to me. So my point is, I think sometimes you need to read several books to master something, because we need reminding. Is it Socrates who said learning is remembering? So you read it, you kind of get the concept, but then it's reading it again and again from different authors who use different language before it really lands. So my point is, don't get disheartened. If you say, like I would try and get the best book I could on marketing, trying to use the principle by Tim Ferriss of measuring twice, cutting once. But with learning, it's not possible, as I say. So don't get disheartened if you read one book and you feel it's not doing much. It's probably going to take 4, 5, 6 books it might do on that topic before you've learned enough, you've actually applied a bit, you failed, now you have an appreciation for what's being written in the book. Yeah, I just want to share that. I read the book The One Thing by Gary Keller, which is essentially his rendition of the Pareto principle, focusing on the most important tasks that are going to get you ahead. And it didn't really land that much, but it set the foundation for when I read Essentialism by Greg McKeown, I think his name is. That book just impacted me, but I don't think it really would have unless I'd read The One Thing first. So I think that makes the point. And then the other thing to say is, if you're building an online business, it's just a lot of ups and downs. The last week for me has just been really sketchy. Complete inability to focus, days where I've just felt completely lost, wondering what on earth are you doing with your life. And I think it's normal, and I got this from this really amazing guy called James Schultz on YouTube, who did these 12-hour study marathons. He's a very introverted guy. I think he's a very cool guy, in my opinion. Seems very authentic and whatever. Gosh, I've lost my train of thought now. And because these are raw, authentic videos, I have a rule that I'm not allowed to stop. Where was I? Essentialism. Yes, you just have ups and downs. It's just the way it goes. You have ups and downs. Another plane. So you have ups and downs, and yes, I got this from James Schultz, his planner. And I had this before because I have a journaling method, a 1-minute journaling method, which helps me so much. And there are 3 things on the journaling method. I have 3 things I'm grateful for. So I literally go bam, bam, bam in 10 seconds. what would make today great, so you future pace and you set a target in your mind. And then YL, yesterday's learning. So I just write in my journal, 3G, what would make today great, and YL. And it's not a comprehensive journaling method. I can do it in 60 seconds, but I do it every day, and it does have an effect. Beautiful muse, my favorite muse in London. And YL, yesterday's learning. So to go back to James Schultz, anytime you're going through those ups and downs, as I was talking about, those highs and lows, which are just part of building a small business, never ever let that happen without finding the reason why. Look for a learning lesson. And mine has been neglecting sleep. That's been a massive thing for me. And sometimes you've got to learn the lesson 100 times. So that's why that daily journaling method, the 1 minute journal that I guess I've coined that, probably somebody already had it out there, is so important to me. Because after you've written YL, like 3G, what would make today great, and then YL, and when you've written in the YL section, I didn't respect my sleep time last night, I went to bed too late or whatever. Once you've written that for like the 100th time, hopefully it doesn't take you 100, but maybe it does. But say you've written that for the 20th day in a row, I neglected my sleep again, You can't escape the lesson. You definitely are going to find the lesson. And sometimes it just takes repetition. And I think that, don't shame yourself for that. You know, I'm a perfectionist a little bit by nature sometimes. So if you teach someone to box, you'll hear the coach, if you go to any good boxing gym, especially if they're dealing with more beginner boxers, keep your hands up, because that's to guard your face. Now, even pro fighters who've boxed for maybe 10, 15 years, you might even hear the coach say, keep your damn hands up, man. And the reason for that is because you forget. We just forget. So, yeah, going back to James Schultz, if you have a bad day in the beginning of this video, I was talking about there are ups and downs. If that happens, keep going back to find the reason why, you know. So I journaled the last 3 days, or last week really, hey, your sleep was crap again, and I had an awful day. So yesterday's learning was go to bed earlier, feel better. And it's taken a week for me to finally, you know, just, it's hit me like, wow, like just go to bed earlier, man, and with a book, and I feel happy for doing that. And also I get another 5 to 10 pages, which gets me towards one of my role models, I guess, of like 40, 50 pages a day. Hope this helps someone on this journey to moving all of my business online and eventually being able to work and earn anywhere. Have a great day.